Hi, my name is Josh Stokes. I've lived in Southwest Virginia my entire life. I've visited other places around the world, around the country, and there's just something about Southwest Virginia that is unique and special. Unfortunately, I can't quite put into words what makes it so special. So I'm going to show you. We're going to visit various businesses, events, and talk to the people who make this such a wonderful place to live. So join me on the community show. I can't wait to see you there. So we're here with Amy with Horses Healing Hearts, here right in Floyd, Virginia. Technically Willis?
No, it's still Floyd.
Still Floyd. All right, we're still in Floyd. So before we get started with any other questions, what is Horses Healing Hearts about? What's the mission of Horses Healing Hearts?
So our main goal, my goal when we started this, and it still is to provide a safe, nurturing, healthy atmosphere for our community, for children and adults, also children and adults with any special physical, mental, or social challenges, to give them a safe place to be around the animals. So animals are healing in general, so most of these animals just give that good vibe when you're here. So our goal is to provide this place for our community so that they can come out and enjoy the animals, learn something. We try to do horsemanship, riding lessons. We do some mental health intervention on the farm with a licensed therapist. So my goal is to have like a one-stop shop for some good vibes, I guess. It's the best way to put it. To provide that for the community is huge for me because I want it to last long beyond me.
So how long have you been doing this?
So my husband and I got our first 4 goats before we did horses almost 8-9 years ago. And then it evolved and it kept evolving. So really working on the nonprofit, that big idea, and the community farm piece came into play as an idea and a prototype about 8 years ago. Starting it with one person who you'll interview today, and it's just grown from that. And we finally decided to establish it as a nonprofit, and we just got that declaration actually in February, but they've gone back to when we started it in 2019. So technically, we've been a nonprofit since 2019.
So what would you say the biggest challenges in getting Horses Healing Hearts up and running was?
So we still have that challenge because we're not up and running the way I would like for us to be. Money is always, an issue with everything. So working a full-time job at a medical clinic as the office manager and trying to do this as a second job and make it actually function and roll is hard. We've come a long way. We've had lots of community support. We've had family support, friends that have supported us. We have a ton of volunteers. So none of us, anybody that you see today, gets paid nothing. They all do this out of the kindness of their hearts and because they love it and they have some type of passion for what we do. So the challenge is just getting to a point where I can be here full time and make this my full-time job. And I don't know who said this originally, but you never work a day in your life if you're doing what you love. And so my goal is to be here doing what I love, trying to help people, trying to just be with people and teach them things. So money is the biggest challenge. But we're getting there. The nonprofit will help with that. Having that declaration is a huge piece of being able to apply for more grant funding for programs for the community.
So what can you tell me about some of the riders that ride here?
Okay. We have a wide variety of riders. We have some with special needs. We have quite a few adolescents that range from 5 to 18. And then we have a couple of adult riders that come for lessons and come and do trails. So there's a wide variety also of ability. Like some of them are beginners as adults. They've never ridden before, and we're teaching them how to ride. We mostly teach Western. So most of them learn just a Western leisure.
And can you describe what Western leisure is
Yeah.
for some of us who, like me, don't know a whole lot about riding?
Sure. For us, it's just, the basic ranch style. Like we're not doing like cutting cattle or anything like that, but we're just riding in a Western style saddle and doing trail rides and road rides and doing simple stuff in the arena. And they can take that. I always ask my students right off the gate, what's their goal? And I'll take them as far as I can. And then usually I have somebody else I can pass them on to. And I take lessons myself as often as possible in the raining, cutting atmosphere so that I can teach some of that too. So just at a beginner rate. But as far as the riders go, we accept any type of rider. Part of the nonprofit piece would be being able to apply for funding for hoist lift and things of that nature. So we could also help more special needs riders be able to mount better and be safe so that we can teach them in the arena as well. We do have a couple already that can mount on their own or with assistance that we can do right now. But my goal is to make that more open for other folks to come in. And then we have our blind rider, Ray, and you'll get to talk to her. She has overcome a great deal of things. So what is the transformation like? So when someone first comes, has never ridden before, mm-hmm. that may be interested, what is it like to see the transformation of someone starting out and then advancing into their goals? Oh, it's amazing for me. That's one of the things that I take great pride in. Even if it's at a slow process, just that slow progression is huge for me. We have, like my 5-year-old rider yesterday is now reining the pony that we all call the crazy pony because she doesn't behave well most of the time. And he reined her by himself for the first time yesterday, and watching him be okay with that and being soft in his hands and being able to, rein a horse, they have a bit in their mouth. So reining that horse without jerking in its mouth and making it painful for the horse. He had smooth, I call it finesse. I tell him in the saddle, I'm like, okay, finesse with your hands. But watching Ray, for one, has been huge. Her first goal was to sit on a horse and just groom and volunteer here. And, within a year, she was riding alone in the arena by herself, reining the horse on her own to the alphabet around the arena. So those are the things that I tear up about when I see them explode into new things. So, and then almost every student I have wants to go further. They don't want to stop there. So it's huge. So it's obvious you're very passionate. This means a lot to you. Do you keep up with your riders? Like, have you, after they've kind of moved on somewhere, have you kept up with any of them? Yeah, most of them. I'm so new that most of the ones that have started here as regular riders are still here. So they're still learning. Yeah. Get some volunteers out of it. Yeah, exactly. And that's another thing. If they volunteer on the farm, they get a much discounted rate on their riding lessons. So a lot of folks, because of the financials, but also because it gives them an opportunity to work more with the horses and learn the different horses and be able to learn horsemanship. That's one of my requirements. I won't just do lessons and say, okay, here's your horse, it's ready, hop in the saddle, and we're going to teach you how to ride. I require them to pick their feet out, learn about their body, groom them, prepare them for the ride, put the saddle on them, learn the parts of the saddle, put the saddle on themselves. We work through all those horsemanship details. And then we even do groundwork, which by that, for those people that don't know, is, lunging a horse and working with them with desensitization tools such as the tarps and flags and stuff like that. I think when you have a relationship on the ground with a horse, it makes that relationship in the saddle so much better. So that's what I want them to get out of it when they come.
All right, so you have a lot of volunteers here at the farm, and it's my understanding we have some who may be a little more camera shy. So, are there any special recognitions you want to give to the people who? I know you're a big reason that this happens, but there's a lot of people behind the scenes that make this happen and tirelessly put in the work. So
yes. We have a lot of volunteers, and a lot of them may not end up on camera, but there's one in particular that is very camera shy, but is the heart and soul, and I might cry, of what we do here. And that's my stepdaughter, Angel, Lena Huff. She feeds all the animals in the morning so that I can continue to do my day job. And she takes care of them in the evening. As soon as I get off work and I come home, I'm rushing to change into my farm attire to come up here and do lessons for all of the students that come. Sometimes, like my father was saying, we'd have 5 lined up, back to back until dark when I get off of work. And Angel will have tack ready for each horse up that we need for each of those riders. We have a whiteboard on the fridge where she and I plan the entire week in advance, and things change. She keeps me organized, and there are days when I have failed her and the farrier shows up and the equine chiropractor shows up and I did not put it on the calendar, and she bobs and weaves with it and takes care of everything, hikes to the top of the hill on our property to get horses that she could have otherwise been prepared for if I'd been a little bit more organized. So I can't say enough about how much we appreciate everything she's done to make this happen, because if she wasn't here and she wasn't homeschooled and she wasn't able to make this a part of her schooling environment, we wouldn't be able to do this. There's no way that we could operate, not like we are right now anyway. So I just wanted to give a shout out to her and make sure that she knows she's appreciated. So,
well, thank you.
Thank you.
So this handsome guy behind us, can you tell me a little bit about him and how he got to be?
Sure. Yeah. This is Pride. His previous owner to me was just getting a little bit older and having some difficulty riding, and he was in such good shape and such a pleasant horse that they didn't want him to just sit in the field and kind of waste away. So he was taken great care of, but he needed some exercise. So we adopted him and took him on, and he is a Tennessee walking horse. He has a beautiful gait. So by that, I mean, when you're in the saddle, it's smooth sailing, no bumpy ride. He does a lot of lessons for me. He's a very faithful horse, and so when he adapts to the rider and he trusts the rider, he'll be there through and through. He's a good horse. He's actually a horse that went through a terrible accident, a car accident in a trailer, and was in a creek, and the trailer had turned over. And this horse, through that trauma, lots of horses would never have loaded in a trailer again. This horse will load right up in a trailer with no problem, because once he trusts you, he trusts you. So it's a beautiful thing.
That's amazing. So, I mean, you're not just building trust with people riding horses, you're building trust with the animals themselves.
That's why we call them our animal partners. Not, I'll use this horse for the lesson or anything like that. You're going to partner with this horse today to learn what you learn.
So what else about the farm Horses Healing Hearts is a big aspect of this property, but I'm noticing, there's even more to the farm than just the horses. And you'd mentioned that you had a few rescues of other animals yourself. So is this something that you continue to do in the farm?
Yes. So while we don't call ourselves a rescue, almost every animal here has been an adoption or a rescue in some shape or form. Most of them have been in pretty decent shape when we've gotten them. We've had a couple that were really underweight. We have a couple now that are underweight. And actually, Pride, he's almost 23. He's actually 23 in June. So he's getting older and having some difficulty with his weight. So we adapt to that. And a lot of times we have great people that volunteer and will volunteer their time, but also donate money for feed and stuff like that, because they know that we have several special needs on the farm. We have adopted ducks. We've adopted rabbits. We've adopted goats, a pig, a potbelly pig who's no longer with us, but she was great. Everybody loved her. Her name was Missy. And, if it's something we can take care of and know that we can do a good job at it, we'll consider it. We just recently adopted a blonde horse, Cooper. His owner was very sick and had to move away from the area, and it was a more of a in-riner. But he is completely blind. He's 25 and has been blind since he was 5. So because he's been blind for 20 years, he actually trusts really well once he adapts to you. So he will, he hears my voice. He comes straight to the fence. He's got a beautiful soul about him. So we are hoping to actually work with him a little bit and have him and Ray work together, because they'll really have to trust each other to make that work. So she's been grooming him and getting used to him, and they've been getting to know each other. So it's been really cool to watch.
That is. Last question. It's amazing farm you have here. How do people find you to get involved?
Okay. So most of what most of our advertising has been through Facebook right now. We have a Facebook page at Farming with the Heart, and then we have a profile as well. And we post a lot of what we're doing, our flyers, stuff like that. Hopefully, citizens will also help us with some of that. We're also going to be we're actually opening a Facebook page. I'm not a Facebook page, sorry. We're opening a website now. I've got somebody helping me work on that. So once we have that, I'll make sure that we get that out there on Facebook so folks know where to go and how to donate and things of that nature. So,
and I'm sure we can help with some of that.
With that too, yeah. We'd appreciate that. So, yeah, anything that we can do to get the word out about what we do, and even collaboration in the community. I think the more the community knows about what we're doing, the more other agencies and organizations can also collaborate with us in ways to help. My goals were to help some of the children or adolescents in our community that need maybe a little extra guidance, or that are on probation, or have done something minor but need to work off some time for community service and stuff like that, but also build a relationship with them while they're here, and maybe be that one good thing in their life that sets them on a different path,
influencing positive change.
Right.
I mean, that's
right. So
sounds like what you're about here is
that
I hope
influence. So that's what we're trying to do. Yes.
Well, from what I've seen, you are doing a good job of it, and I really hope y'all continue doing it more.
Well, thank you.
Amy, it was a pleasure talking to you.
Nice talking to you.
This farm has been a very blessing. They make you feel special here. And I want to thank everyone in the community, friends and family, for all the support that y'all give us to have this place for special people like me or any kind of handicap. You don't even have to have one to come here, whether you volunteer or take riding lessons. They make you feel like you are blessed. That I just feel like that when I am at the farm, I am in a free, I feel like I'm part of the team, and I feel like I don't have a handicap. That's how these people make me feel. When you come here, you're part of a team and you work hard, but you also get on those horses and you are free.
All right, we're here with Ray Mccoy. She is one of the clients here and volunteers at Horses Healing Hearts. So tell me a little bit about your unique situation. You're blind and you ride horses, which I'm pretty sure if I couldn't see, I would be terrified. Can you just tell me a little bit about this?
When I first started here, I actually came as a prototype setup for using equine, the horses, with therapy for helping you heal with mental, because I went blind in 2007, October 2007, and at first it was a very rough time. I made a lot of hard decisions to have to go to a school in Florida. There was nothing where I was in West Virginia. And I am now here in Willis, Virginia. I live in Willis, and there's nothing there. We're in the middle of, like this, in the middle of nowhere. Horses Healing Hearts got me out of my depression, made me see that I can do anything I put my mind to.
So what was it like first starting out with Horses Healing Hearts? I mean, I'm sure this is...
I actually met Trigger, and Trigger took right up to me. He's one of the horses here. And we have a cow. Her name is Jeannie. And she wasn't even 6 months old. I couldn't do anything with her till she turned 6 months old. And when she did, I actually was walking around with her just like my service dog that's retired now. And I also worked with the goats. I just help with whatever they need help with.
Now, when it comes to riding, I'm sure you've experienced some sort of progression as you've went along. How is that progression, in your words, went along?
Okay, I actually started from the ground up. I was on a horse a couple times when I was a kid, but I was never into horses. And Trigger made me see, I think I actually could ride. But Elise and Amy made me really see that, like I said, I can do whatever I put my mind to. And with the use of alphabet and commands, I'm on that horse, and I have progressed to the point that I ride independently in the rank. I'm not scared of any horse, including Big Al. I love Big Al. He's like a Cadillac riding him.
You ride Big Al too?
I ride Big Al too. And I'm very proud of little Riley because she is so small and Big Al is so big.
I know, it's crazy. Just I really can't wait to see her riding Big Al.
But it's a lot of work for me. I have to map it all in my head and be able to hold the reins, command the horse, stay on the horse, and ride all at the same time. So it takes a lot of work mentally for me to actually be on a horse and ride. But I enjoy every bit of it. I feel like I'm free. When I get on a horse, I am free. I have no worries. When I groom these horses, and I groom, I do tack, that's all the things that I do. I clean buckets, whatever they need me to do, that's what I do. But I have progressed to the point that I want to eventually be independently riding in a trail ride. And that's what we're working on right now. I started from the bottom to now.
That sounds phenomenal. Now, when you're on the horse, I'm sure there's a lot of trust and relationship built. So is that something that you work with as well, as building that relationship with the horse on the ground? How does that look when you're when you're working with that horse, what are you doing to build that relationship?
I love them a lot. I talk to them a lot. When I'm grooming them, I make because I have to make full contact. I have to follow them with my hands because I don't have my eyes. And I feel like that they know it's like something special that I can't explain. But it's like the horses know that there's something special about me, that they have to be my eyes.
I mean, it sounds like you're experiencing something that is so much more at a deeper level that some of us really aren't able to experience because, you do have that necessity of trust with the horse, where the horse is, you and the horse have a little bit of a deeper connection.
Yes.
If I'm reading this correctly.
Yes, I have a deeper connection with the horses than probably, but I feel like that anybody that comes here and wants to ride or just wants to groom and be with the animals, you have a connection if you love them, if you show them respect. Horses still are an animal. They can, have accidents and can hurt you. No, they don't mean to, because they are an animal. And I don't want them to do that. So you must have respect for that animal. They will have respect for you. Show the respect. That is when you're grooming them and they know that you're taking care of them. When you feed them, when you walk them, they know that you're taking care of them. And that's just like any of the animals here, rabbits, chickens. They want just to be loved and well taken care of. I really just am hoping to grow with them as long as I can. As long as my body will allow me to. I plan to be on horses and help with anything that I can help with.
So I'm sure you give Amy and Horses Healing Hearts your full backing and support. What would you recommend to anybody who's interested in riding for Horses Healing Hearts? What would you recommend them start with?
Come volunteer. Come make sure that it's something that you really want to do. Have that first lesson. Learn from the ground up. Don't think that you want to just jump on a horse and, hey, I'm going to ride. It doesn't happen that quick. You've got to know everything about a horse, everything about your equipment, which is your tack, your saddle, your reins, the halter, the bits that go in their mouth. Everything their equipment has to be good for them as well, for them to do a good job too. And you have to make sure it's all in place properly. I got away from the question. I'm sorry. You can erase that.
We can get it in editing.
Let's start that over again.
Oh, okay.
I really think that volunteering and coming and meeting a horse and grooming them, getting your hands on them and seeing if it's something you really want to do.
All right.
You have to respect them.
Well,
it's just like people.
Respect is everything.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for taking your time with us, and I can't wait to see you ride. I'm excited for that. So we get.
Well, I hope my horse is going to cooperate that day. That does have parts. Some of them can be stubborn, but it's still fun. I can't explain it. You have to see it.
So it's something that has to be experienced,
You
right?
have to see it and experience it. If you have a love for animals, this is the place to be.
All right, so we're here with Sarah Huff from Horses Healing Hearts. She is the executive assistant, which I assume means that you do a lot.
I do.
And who is this here with you?
This is Riley. This is my oldest, and she does a lot on the farm also.
Oh, so the volunteers start at a young age.
Yes.
All right, so being the executive assistant, what does that entail?
Well, it just means, honestly, helping Amy with anything and everything under the sun that a farm needs to function. I help a lot with lessons or the trail rides. I also help put together any of our events.
So, it can go from organizing spreadsheets
Yes.
to cleaning out a stall.
Yep.
Just like that.
Yep.
So how did you get started with Amy?
Well, we both married into the same family, so we became very quick friends. And then we just both have a really big love for horses. So
And you've been doing this since the beginning?
Yeah,
Assisting with it?
about 8 years.
So how long have you been riding yourself? Is this something you grew up with?
Yes, I grew up taking lessons and then rode with friends throughout the years. And when I was 20, I got my own horse, and I've since had to let her go. But I was able to have my own horse and ride, and then started with this. So it's been a big blessing.
So being a part of this, what is the best experience that you have experienced so far in working with your clients?
So it would be watching them start from either knowing nothing to very little, and then leaving with a wealth of information and just the joy that they get from being here, the peace that they find when they're messing with the horses and spending time here and getting to make new friends.
So you're part of the volunteers, so you're not drawing a salary. This is all what you do with your free time
Yeah.
to help keep this going.
Yeah.
And with that, there's a lot of passion for it. So what is your favorite thing about working here? I mean, other than just working with the clients, what drove you to just be part of this?
Well, my love for horses, but also what horses bring to me personally. They bring me a lot of peace and joy and just ground me so that, your everyday hardships are just kind of go away when I'm with the horses, and they just give me a sense of freedom to just enjoy life.
So your oldest, Riley, has she started riding yet?
Yes, she does. Her favorite is Big Al.
You ride Big Al? We'll get a shot of Big Al here in a minute.
Yeah.
But you ride that big horse?
Yep.
Sure do.
Yep. And then she also rides the pony Magnolia.
Okay.
Um,
You have a favorite horse? Who's your favorite horse? Big Al?
of course.
So do you have other kids that are involved in riding?
I do. I have 3 more. My other middle, she helps out, and the other 2 are starting to learn.
Okay. And what age did you start riding?
Well, I messed around with horses when my older siblings were taking lessons, so that was probably about 5 years old that I started being around horses. And then probably about 8, I really started doing my own lessons.
Okay. Now, going a little more toward the executive assistant position, back to that, it's my understanding that you have an event coming up in October.
Mhm.
October 20th, I believe.
I think so, yes.
Yes, October 20th, 2022. Can you tell me a little bit about organizing that and the scale of what's going to be going on?
Well, first was getting the flyer together, which Amy did a lot of that this time, and it's beautiful. Then finding our vendors and figuring out and asking the community and the vendors who wants to be involved. And then we found bands. And Amy did really has gotten a lot of help with some other people throughout the community to help build so that we can hopefully do a much larger event this year in another property, hopefully. So it will be a very nice, large event that I hope will be a very family fun-filled day with riding and introducing people to the horses and maybe some little goats and just getting to introduce a little bit more to the community this year.
That sounds wonderful. So I plan on being there.
Yes.
I hope you plan on being there.
That would be lovely.
And if you're watching it after it happened, you just totally missed out, and we all had a great time. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for speaking with us today, and thank you, Riley. Okay, so we're here with Megan Bush, one of the volunteers here at Horses Healing Hearts. How long? Let's get started with how long have you been with them?
Like 2.5 years, probably. Maybe
2.5.
3.
All right, so as a volunteer, how did you get started with Horses Healing Hearts? Tell me a little bit about that story.
My mom was looking for somewhere for me to go because I love horses and I love to train them. And we found here, and it's been working out so far. Love all the horses. Most of them are nice.
So with Horses Healing Hearts, what is the most rewarding part about your volunteer experience? Do you work with a lot of the clients as well?
Yeah, some of them. It's good to see how it changes them, how much they, like Ray, she started grooming out here. Now she's riding all by herself, and it's good to see all that change and stuff.
So working with Amy, how's it like working with Amy on a daily basis or weekly basis? She's over there watching you, so watch what you say.
She's fun. A little tough sometimes, but yeah, it's fun to work with. She's a big adventure. You got to keep up with her.
So keeping up with her is the toughest part.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah. So we've heard from Riley and Ray that they ride Big Al. Do you ride Big Al too?
Mm-hmm.
Have you fallen off Big Al?
Not yet.
No, not yet. Amy said she fell off Big Al. That's a long fall. So what are your future plans after volunteering? I mean, I'm sure you're going to be starting a career here in the next few years or
I love to train
going to
horses.
school. So you're going to make a career out of training horses?
Mm-hmm. And I love to show, reining, and cutting. So, yeah, mostly training.
Can you tell me about maybe a specific experience that has really stood out to you?
Yeah, there was one, she rode Dory, bareback, and she was really good with her balance and everything. And she was, like, never ridden before, and it was really good to see how quickly she got along with the horse and how good she did so fast. Like, she really got the hang of it really fast. It was cool to see that.
So anyone who is looking to get into riding or maybe want to experience horses for the first time, what would you recommend they start doing? Where should they start?
Probably spending time with them, grooming, stuff like that. Really getting to know the horse that they want to work with.
So how do you go about grooming them? Can you tell me a little bit about that? I've heard a lot about grooming the horses, but where would you start?
Well, there's a curry that you would start like on their neck a lot because you like start to from top to bottom, front to back, and you do their feet last. Some of them aren't so good with their feet, but most of them are.
So you're 13 years old, and do you plan on continuing to work with Horses Healing Hearts the further you go along in your career?
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much, Megan, for speaking with us. I appreciate that. So we're here with Bobby Huff. This is Amy's husband, the man behind the scenes here at Horses Healing Hearts.
Way behind.
So, you've been married to Amy for how long?
9 years.
9 years.
Yeah, I tell everybody it's 19, but that's 9.
Feels like 19.
Some days she's hard to keep up with.
I imagine so. She's someone who seems to have a lot of energy and a lot of vision.
She does. She stays very, very busy at this.
So speaking of a lot of energy and a lot of vision, what was it like when Amy told you that she was going to start this Horses Healing Hearts? What was that initial conversation like? What was the undertaking?
Well, to be honest with you, I just really thought it was going to be kind of a phase. But it was her dream. She stuck with it. She worked really hard. I just like most married couples should be, just kind of lived the dream with her. And it just kept growing, and I never thought it would get to this point. So, and hopefully it'll keep going. So, but it was skepticism, you might say.
So what were the initial challenges, working to help create and establish?
Well, working a full-time job and trying to do this after hours, and was a struggle. Just the time of the days, and of course financial. That was a big struggle. Lots of money goes into these four-legged creatures over here, but it was a struggle at first, but then it got to be more of a joy. So and a lot of release. You have a hard day at work, you come home. You get to messing with animals, they take it away. So that's the biggest part of it for us.
Now, before you met Amy, did you have much experience with horses? Or?
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
I really didn't. She brought all this madness in. So, but I'm glad she did in the long run. At first, I wasn't so sure, but they kind of grow on you. They become big pets.
So what's the kind of like the biggest what's the biggest thing that you learned about horses that you just kind of blew your mind that you didn't know beforehand?
They're more gentle creatures than a lot of people think. A lot of people are scared because of their size. They've all got their own personality. All of them like to be done differently as far as when you work with them. So they all have their little quirks, just like people and dogs and cats and all that stuff. So, and this one, as you can see, has his little quirks here. He wants to be in everybody's business. So, but they're a lot more gentle creature than most people initially think.
So when did y'all get y'all's first horse together?
Well, that was, I don't know, 7 years ago? Yeah, roughly 7 years ago. And he wasn't the horse that we thought he was going to be. So he took a little work and stuff, and he had some health issues, but he got it all started. So we give him credit for that.
So you after meeting Amy, you learned to ride and everything?
No. I still don't ride.
You still don't ride?
I do not. I try to do everything on the ground with what she tells me I'll have to do. But I do. I mostly, feed, try to look after everything, try to keep things up. I do work with the horses in the round pen with them, and I'm the observer. I watch and give them, clues and tips on what I see they're doing wrong or what they're doing right, and just that's kind of my role. I'm more of a tires and steering wheel kind of guy, so I'm not much of a rider.
So do you do a lot of the behind? We mentioned you did a lot of behind the scenes. You said way behind the scenes.
Yeah, I'm way. I try to stay out of the light.
But do you work with any of the clientele?
I interact with them some. I get along with I think about all of them, and I'm the jokester. I try to keep something going all the time. Ray, I think she likes me. She might tell you different, but I think she likes me.
All right, so you have a unique perspective. Most of the people working the horses and the clientele, but you do a lot of the day-to-day operations and help out on the ground. What is the biggest changes that you've seen come across Horses Healing Hearts as it's progressed and as it's grown?
We're getting a little more organized. At the beginning, you just never knew what was going to go on the next day. Now, Amy's getting it now to where it's a little more organized. She's scheduling things. I mean, at the beginning, you might have the vet show up and the farrier and have 2 or 3 people wanting to ride and stuff like that all in one day, and it's just overwhelming. So she's learned to do that. The horses, better health, being able to take care of them better and stuff like that. I mean, that helps us out a whole lot. We're not running ourselves plumb ragged. So, but things like that, it's progressed a whole lot, and we get a lot more help from volunteers and things like that. So that helps a lot.
So what are your goals for the future? So Horses Healing Hearts is going to be moving along in the future. How are you envisioning this progressing? How are you and Amy wanting to grow Horses Healing Hearts?
Well, to get it more self-sustaining for one, but we'd like to we'd love to have an indoor arena, but where she could work more year round. Lord, we need a hay shed, and cost of materials is so high. That's down the road, but just love to see more people coming in, more activity. Love to see it to where she could, just do this full time, not have to work another job, because I know it's really, really hard on her. So just grow in general and people grow with us.
Okay. So as it grows, what's it looking like for your role in the position? And could you use more volunteers helping out? Maybe someone who's not into riding, but really wants to be around the farm and animals?
Sure, yeah. We can, anybody, there's jobs here and tasks here that anybody can do, whether they'd like to ride or not. Like I say, I get more enjoyment working with them on the ground than I do on their back. I mean, there's always stalls to be cleaned, tack to be cleaned, field work, fences. I mean, there's something all the time. Just feeding, just helping feed. That's a big help, things of that nature. And there's so much to be learned. I mean, I've learned and I'm still learning. So.
And you train. You'll train people on how to do this.
We will. I'll show them what I know, and then they just have to take it from there. So maybe they'll train me when we get done. So.
All right. Well, thank you so much for speaking with us, Bobby.
Thank you.
All right, so we're here with Stan and Karen. They help out here at Horses Healing Hearts. Let's start off. What's your relation with Amy?
I'm Amy's dad.
I'm her mother.
All right. So, and Stan also has a special relation with Citizens too. If you watch our football games, you may recognize his voice. This is our star commentator for football.
Al may help me this year.
we got to replace Gary Reedy. Yes.
I feel the same way.
All right. So y'all been helping out with Horses Healing Hearts since the beginning.
We're behind the scenes.
Well, without y'all, it wouldn't be here, right?
Yeah, we had Amy when she was a baby, so I guess so, yeah.
Well, I never would dream that she would ever do this in her life.
Really?
That's what made me, because she used to be so scared of animals when she was little.
Really? That's a neat little tidbit. Amy was scared of animals. That has certainly changed.
Yeah,
Definitely.
We figured she'd be riding Harley Davidsons or something.
So what's it been like to watch this progress? And not just Horses Healing Hearts, but Amy progress, growing up and starting this organization and turning it into what it is today.
Just starting off with Bobby and Amy both. When they started to date, he went out and opened the door for her, and I said, "Uh-oh, there's our son-in-law," because And next thing you knew, they got married. And Bobby is a great support of, like you said, a couple should be that way. He's a great support of Amy and the farm, because it was always kind of farmland and all. Bobby lived here basically all his life, and that with supporting her and her dream, and her dream is coming more true. It's not to where she wants it to be by no means. They've got good visions of what they want it to be, and it's be outstanding. Like with Ray, what they've done with Ray. So mother, they actually have the cow's gotten too big. They actually had a therapy cow for a while that people could pet and all, but she's getting bigger, so I don't think. And like Al's pretty big. Now Al looks at me. He says, "You ain't getting on me because I'm big as he is." But my mother has Alzheimer's, and she came over and petted Big Al and took care of his, wiped his legs down and all. She still talks about that day, even though she don't know who I am. Sometimes she remembers Big Al. You know, you might be in the wheel. I don't know if she will. But
It calmed her down.
Calmed her down.
Relaxed her. That's what the therapy's all about.
It's a bigger program. We think about the Horses Healing Hearts. They have rescued a few, but the main thing is have horses that still have a lot to give. They may have some, like Bobby was saying, some little things, twigs that's going on, but like I've worked with people all my life. I'm a minister and I was a coach and teacher and all, but the horses, you got to kind of know some days they may just need to be left alone, and some days they're ready to go. You know, you got to hold them back. You know, but I grew up. My dad had a horse when I was little. I actually got threw off a horse before I could walk. Actually, a horse never had ridden up before, but all I remember is down below that big horse looking up. So, whoa, I hope he don't move. And then my dad adopted a pony and kept it. It was just like a pet. He just went out and fed it and rented a field and all. And it was around horses. When I was real little, we used to go to rodeos. And used to love that, especially the clowns at the rodeos and stuff. And been around horses, but never, I was always rein taught. And these, Amy, these horses are taught where you use your legs and your feet and your weight a certain way. And I want to ride Big Al eventually, but haven't ventured out yet. I've been a little bit with pneumonia and stuff, but they're going to have to retrain me totally over too. I don't know a whole lot. I just know that when they're going to go in the barn and they're wide open and the barn not enough for you and the horse to get in there, you better be looking for somewhere to go. Or the pony that knows that pine tree. If he runs you between the pine and the barn, he's going to drag you off. I learned that long. But we love Amy and Bobby and the farm as we see the vision, and y'all do too. I can tell by you just being announcing stuff. But Karen, you need to say something. I'm a preacher. I talk all day long.
Well, their daughter Angel does a lot of work during the day while they're both working, and she does a lot for him. That helps him a lot, you know. And they do work hard every day. It's not just like, you know, you got to do something every single day, morning and evening. You know, it's like a farm. You take care of everything. If you don't, you pay for it, you know.
Right. There's no breaks.
No breaks.
That's right.
Like
But they enjoy it. They
Yes.
enjoy it.
Bobby and Angel and Amy and Sarah and Riley. They've got another little girl. What's her name?
April.
April. She's one of the younger. She's ready to start doing it too. And just they have a love for animals. They've had rabbits. And of course, in Floyd, we have foxes and coyotes and stuff like that. Sometimes chickens and stuff get missing. You don't like to see that, but it does happen. But they have the love for the animals, but just a picture of just loving the farm, you know, seeing it being productive. And people in Floyd County, we thank Floyd County for so much. We've helped them a little bit. They've got a horse trailer now down there, which is real good for them. Move horses. They go to a riding. We did go to a riding event down in Patrick County, and that was that right? Patrick County, and watched them ride and all that stuff. And Amy's always showing off these horses. The reins came off her horse down there, and it was going wide open. And she said, "Oh, my reins came off." But she got it stopped in time. But that was really cool to see those horses riding, jog, stop, walk, something like that, you know. And I grew up seeing Tennessee walkers a lot too when I was young. Not riding them, but seeing them, you know. They're big like Al. So.
They stay really busy giving riding lessons a lot.
Yeah, real busy now. But there's always room for some more. Amen. But we want to see the farm grow. It's in her heart, and she's always had animals all her life. But we've had dogs, we've had little animals and stuff. We used to have goats here, a bunch of goats, and then they've kind of dwindled down a little bit. But it's real good. Good kids are learning, like my mother. I'm gonna have to learn everything from scratch too. The parts of the saddle, because it's been years since I've ridden one. But how to make sure everything's just right. I'm gonna have to learn all that myself. Really, I'm kind of on the education board. It's not a board yet, but I'll be working out education programs for kids to come in what you want them to learn that day and have objectives and stuff like that. But with the grants and all that will come down later.
So it sounds like it can really grow into a larger organizational structure with these grants and with the help of the community itself.
Yes, sir.
And so that's where we like to see it grow to as well, because I mean, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Good for the people. That's right.
Yeah.
But they want to serve the people too. They don't want to get so big that you start sliding things. You want to be able to serve the people. Yeah.
Right. And from just being out here, the brief moment I have, this is not a career. This is a calling. Like this is something you don't get into, to make money or anything. You get into it for the passion, and hopefully the grants and the organization will grow from that passion. But
I feel that Amy Jo feels that God puts her in this position to do the therapy for people for whatever they need it for.
Right, and it's obviously helping. We have people, testimonials of people who it has directly positively impacted their life. So as parents, I'm sure y'all swelling with pride.
Definitely. We like Bobby. He's our favorite son-in-law right now. He's the only one we got, I think. But with that too, we want that people, there's a lot behind us. That there's a lot of kids that come here and either feed the dogs, put water in the pool, chickens. There's a lot of kids that come up in riding lessons too. One day she had like 5 riding lessons. So, and I asked her about price and stuff. They're getting a lot for the buck, the way I look at it. And then one thing I learned too, riding horses, you don't get in a riding ring with a new stag and just turn loose in a mare riding around the same ring. you run quick. I hope I used the right terms on that. But we've had some good times with horses and hope to have some more, especially Al. Where you at, Al? Come over here. Yeah, I like you too. But I guess we've said probably enough. We just love the idea and use of the land, use of the people, resources. And the grants, if she's worked really hard on these grants, it's hard to get grants through and stuff. But when she does that, she would like to be a full-time for her just working the farm. Outlay, a lot of paperwork. You guys know that with citizens and stuff.
Yes.
But, well, we thank you so much for coming out and all the citizens and for that have donated to the farm. We appreciate everybody for doing it. And God bless each and every one of you.
One final thing that I do want to ask is, our viewers watching this, just learning about Horses Healing Hearts, what would you want to say to them?
Go ahead, you first. Devout wife. She's going to go ahead. Main thing is horses, our animals are important. Like with the education part, there's a certain respect that we should have for, which we don't now in modern times have for each other, that we should have respect for those animals, just like because they are our friends, they're our loved ones. I have a son who's had to have a couple of dogs put down because they were so sick. And, the kids remember them. They love it. And they have actually a little service for those animals and all. And so that it teaches respect for the animal. Animal have respect for you. And then from that also in society, you learn the respect. Everything has a respect. You should respect things like it. And I think that's one thing we're missing in society today is just respect for actually one another, But I think it teaches a lot. And I think with that, and especially people, autism, those different things, partly crippled somehow, whatever, that for them to be able to get on a horse. And I would, if you don't mind, tell one story. My little niece, she was about the size of Riley, and she just fell off a big horse about like him, got thrown and broke her collarbone. She comes up by my grandmother's house just getting that horse just to get him with one arm. I said, are you trying to break the other collarbone? But the determination in that little girl's eyes, I say she's fighting cancer right now. She's an older lady, of course. Al, don't be biting on me now. But just the idea of the love and care the horse had for her and she had for the horse. Just respect, I think, a lot of respect.
Respect, determination, fortitude to persevere, when things are tough. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like she broke her collarbone and was still enjoying it. Yeah, I mean, I know that's a painful break, but
she's got cancer now. She's up on a horse in a minute, she lives in South Carolina.
That ability to continue living life despite its challenges.
That's right. Yes, sir.
And I think that speaks volumes to the work being done here as well.
I agree with you. Yes, sir.
Well, thank you so much, Stan and Karen.
Thank you so much.
Karen and Catherine.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.